What's going on, y'all? So, I went to visit my parents today, and I actually missed them, but I was talking on the phone with them, and my dad explained to me that on his daily walk, he had gotten chased by a pack of wild dogs. Like dogs, I guess, no collar or whatever, that were in his neighborhood, and he had to run. And I mean, it's kind of not, it's not funny, but I mean, it kind of is. But but the reason why I talk about that is because my dad had to run, and mind you, my dad, he told me, of course, he hasn't run like that in a very long time, so he kind of, felt pretty sore. But the cool thing to me is that my dad was able to run. And, my dad is, early 60s. And of course, I think I've mentioned this before, but he's one of like my biggest role models as far as like fitness. He's probably the main reason that I'm into fitness so much. Because he taught me and my brothers, like running and, some strength training and stuff like that. And, but anyway, my dad is in his early 60s, and he was able to run away from a pack of dogs. Now, skipping just the fact that, there was these stray, mean dogs in his neighborhood, I wanted to stick with that whole topic of him running. And I wanted to ask you if you were able to run, if you're still able to run, are you still able to jump? Now, these are things that typically, once we get out of maybe high school age where we still have, PE, where we are probably still participating in sports. Some people might go on to participate in sports in college. Typically, once we get past that stage, we stop doing all that stuff. We stop jumping, we stop running, sprinting, things like that. And I think that it's important to really consider that, because we kind of take those things for granted, and we kind of look at them, or even the ability to do such things, as something that is just kind of like a young person thing. But, skipping, play and sports and all that, running and jumping, have practical applications as well. They can, like in the case of my dad, they can kind of help keep you safe, in various situations, whether you have to run away from a pack of dogs, or, hurry up and get inside from rain, or just various different kinds of things like that. There could be other situations where, like, even say for example, you were a person who wanted to get back into sports. Somebody challenged you to a game of basketball or a game of tennis, and then you kind of went back in there, and you were like, in your head you still were that star power forward, but then when you got out there, on the court in the very first play, you pulled a hamstring because you forgot that your body wasn't up there with your mind, and you weren't really able to jump well anymore, and so your muscles just kind of gave out on you. And but yeah, so anyway, being able to run, being able to jump have practical implications, such that I believe it's important for us not to just dismiss them as just things that young people do. Younger people, under, in their 30s, 20s, teens, single digits or whatever. Just locomotion, the ability to be free to kind of move as you want, is a blessing, and it's something I believe that should be maintained. Now, I'm not saying, that you'll be able to, run as fast as you did when you were in your teens and 20s, even though, I've recently seen people doing like masters track and field who are in their 60s, who are able to run just as fast, honestly, as teenagers. And I don't. That's not an exaggeration at all. You know, it's not an exaggeration. If you don't believe me, you can go look up masters track and field and kind of see some of the times that these people put up. Compare them to some high schoolers times, and you'll see that I'm not like exaggerating. So my point is, we actually have a very significant ability to maintain a lot of our dynamic, explosive abilities, if we maintain them in particular. And so if you want to kind of maintain an explosiveness, you kind of have to do explosive type things. If you want to be able to run, you have to run. If you want to be able to sprint, you have to sprint. If you want to be able to um, jump, you have to jump. But even if you're somebody who hasn't done it in a very long time, you can get back into it. I mean, now if it's been decades, you're gonna you probably wanna, get checked by a physician, and you wanna ease into it. And I'm talking about baby steps. Like for example, if you haven't run in a while, one thing I would say is, you kind of start with walking fast, maybe for a couple of weeks, and then you progress from that to um, jogging. Then you progress from that to maybe doing intervals where you're jogging pretty fast and then kind of slow down to walk or something like that. Then you can go faster and faster where you're sprinting. Sprinting is really like, you know, as I heard somebody describe, where your legs are kind of almost reaching in front of you. Jogging is like your legs kind of trail behind you. Sprinting is like your legs going in front of you. You're really pumping your arms. But like, if you ease into it, you can kind of gradually start to get that ability. And I believe that a good way to get back into sprinting is to actually sprint up hills. It's actually easier on your body, on your lower body joints in particular. Jumping, you know, you might start off by um, doing like little bunny hops in place, things like that. You know, you might start, and then from there, you might go to jumping on one stair or something like that, that has a rail where you can kind of do it safely. And then you might progress to like a small plyometric box. You may also, especially if you haven't done running or jumping in a while, it might be a good idea for you to practice balance as well. Balancing on one leg, walking the line, different things like that, so you can become or regain stability, on your feet. But it's important, like the ability to be able to run and jump. Like I say, they have practical implications, and they're not. It's not something that you necessarily lose unless you just totally just kind of like stop moving overall, But if you're willing to gradually ease back into it, if you've been out of it for like several years or decades, then I believe you can regain a lot of what you may have lost, because the body has a very remarkable ability to change based on whatever you stimulate it with. So anyway, just saying that just to say, even if it's been a long time since you ran or jumped, I think it's a good idea for you to do that to kind of regain and develop that ability. And then also, just so happens that if you actually train your body in those ways with some of those type of movements, you're gonna like possibly reshape your body, not just lose weight, but you can kind of like actually sculpt your muscles, sculpt your body, so that you know, into like a physique that you actually are cool with, because you maintain your muscular mass and stuff like that. But I won't get into all those kind of details. It's probably something for another video. Y'all have a good one. As we get older, it becomes increasingly important to maintain and build muscle. Muscle helps you burn fat, stay mobile, and can contribute to longevity. However, many people have no idea how to work out to build muscle. My mini workout series on Patreon provides you with my body weight mini workout video library. These workouts use little to no equipment,
which means that you can do them in the privacy of your own home. They start at beginner level and progress from there to ensure you continue to see results. Every workout is a full body workout, hitting chest, back, legs, and glutes, as well as other muscles in between. Become a patron today and receive access to my series of mini workouts, plus access to a digital copy of my book, 8 Weeks to Transform Your Diet and Your Health. By combining the workouts with healthy diet changes, as outlined in my book, you'll definitely be on your way to weight loss, improved health, and visible results. Join me at patreon.com/SeanB2B Fitness today.